Hey guys, see here and welcome to my she shed. This is a 10 by 12 foot shed that was original to the house when my husband and I purchased it in 2021. Since then, we have moderately remodeled it with the help of a contractor and his team. And so I'm going to show you how we have converted this space into my creative space or my sewing sanctuary or just my lady lair. On the outside, we have replaced the roof. We added gutters, we added the deck, painted of course, and we also added electricity. Let's head on inside and I'll show you the changes that we've made. The original shed was just a traditional shed, so of course there was plywood everywhere, and so drywall was a must for me in this area. I wanted to insulate the space, and then I want to take it one step further by adding the baseboards and the trim around the window just to get that homey feel, make it feel a little more chic and elevated. As you enter the she shed, nothing has changed structurally since the last tour. Of course, I still have my gardening tools on this side and my sewing tools on that side. Now, this is a bookshelf that I found on the side of the road. I brought it home and painted it pink, of course. I love pink. So I painted that pink, of course, and this just houses some of my books, but mostly trinkets and a few family photos. I'm starting to get into knickknacks. So any little collectible or any little knickknack, I bring it home and I put in the she shed. This is a 32-inch Vizio smart TV that is mounted on the wall. Behind me, I have a pegboard, and as mentioned previously, it houses all of my gardening supplies. Now I've got my new serger here that I haven't unboxed and put away, but it is resting on top of my workbench. I kept the workbench at its original condition when we purchased the home. So this work table is 12 foot long by 2 feet wide. And since I did nothing with the plywood, I just added an acrylic cover over top that prevents me from getting any splinters. It also prevents any snags in my garments when I'm sewing them. It's also a nice, easy, durable and easy to clean surface when I'm painting or doing any other crafts. Even if I'm just writing or just chilling, maybe I'm eating, this is a great durable surface. Highly recommend that. Up top are metal grids. These were pretty cheap off of Amazon. Nothing major. This is my sewing corner. So I have my machines. Fabric is underneath. We'll get below the work table in just a second. And then up top are sewing notions and supplies. When having such a small space, it is incredibly important to make use of your vertical space. So you see like the pegboard and the metal grids and the corner shelves, just trying to make use of that vertical space. Same thing with my spool holder, as well as my bookshelf over here on the side. I like a clean, functioning space. I don't like a lot of clutter. When I come in here, I just want it to feel open and airy. And so vertical space and storage is super, super important. My 2 machines and soon 3 machines, once I get my serger unboxed, will fit very comfortably on my workbench. And of course, I've got more supplies here, but everything fits comfortably. When I go to sew, I just pull my machine to the edge. Pedal is on the floor. With my stool, everything is perfect. It's super comfortable, very easy functioning in this space. Now, housing my crafting materials is this 3-tiered cart. This is really great quality. Of course, everything will be linked down below, but this is a really great quality cart. It has withstood a lot in this space. It's been through a lot, and you can't even tell. And it matches my color scheme perfectly. But here I just have spray paints, acrylic paints, glitters, hot glue, scissors, crafting materials, ribbon, you name it. This is where all of my crafting materials go, as well as a little bit of camera equipment such as my mini mics and cords and things like that. As I mentioned previously, much like vertical space, storage is super important in such a small space like my she shed. So under my workbench are various containers, and they are organized and they stay organized. Here, these two larger bins, they both come from Target, but this one here houses more utilitarian aspects for the shed. It's got spare paint, it has an extension cord, it's got some gardening materials, some tools, got some plastic bags and trash bags for garbage, and of course some diapers and wipes for when the kids are in here. And then this bin houses camera equipment like my tripods and my window cover, as well as my mini ironing board. The cube containers house various fabrics, and those fabrics are organized. This is my fabric stash, so it's my overflow of fabric that hasn't been cut. This is fabric that is designated for a particular pattern or a particular project, and then these are patterns and fabrics that have been batch cut and are ready to be sewn. And then right here in this bin is scrap fabric, so these are remnants. And so I love the organization here. I love how clean and sleek it is. I don't think I would function well without it. In addition to, I have a 3-shelf bookshelf. This is a newest addition here, and I think I'm going to have it house all of my patterns, so I get those patterns nice and organized. I originally only used these 2 containers, but I've gotten a little happy with patterns, so now I think I'm going to use this bookshelf to house them. And then tucked in the corner are the storage containers for both of my sewing machines. Those typically collect dust because I never touch those. I never cover up my sewing machines because I use them so frequently. The last addition under the work table is the mini fridge. I went through quite a lot to get this mini fridge in here, for the only thing to be in here is a bottle of lemonade. So that's the newest addition, but I do like having it. When I start using it, I'll let you know why. Now, creating my own reading nook is a new addition to the shed, and I found these really sleek bookshelves off of Amazon. Very minimalist, right? And these are 2 that are staggered right on top of each other. I've actually ordered 2 more because I want to ease some of the weight off of these. But when those get here, I'm going to go ahead and add those to the wall, maybe stagger them a little lower. Not so much that it hits my head, but just a little bit. And then I'm going to shift these picture frames off to the side. Now, these picture frames are just from Goodwill. Me and my daughter went out one night. I saw them, had the vision in my head, just put it up on the wall. Now, if you haven't noticed, I do have a few plants in here. You may be wondering how I can sustain those. I keep my heat on 62 in the shed overnight, and that is enough to keep them sustaining, keep them living. They probably thrive better if I kept the heat up a little higher, but so far everything is well. Now, I also took into consideration the types of plants that I introduced into the space. So those that can handle a bit of more crisp weather and less humidity, because the humidity is nearly shot. I do have a hygrometer on my pegboard with my gardening tools, and right now the humidity is 21%, and I have the door open. It's a pretty cold day today. It is 58 degrees here in the shed. But I have a golden pothos, a snake plant, and a satin pothos, and those handle the temperature very well. They also handle the lower levels of light very well. Seating has been an ongoing battle in this space. Now, I originally had a futon, and while it was really comfortable, it did have a very large footprint in this space. So now I'm testing out a convertible armchair. This chair extends into a sleeper bed. The backrest also goes all the way down, While I can't say that I am 100% satisfied with this solution, it does have a smaller footprint and I am able to relax. The question that I'm asked most frequently when it comes to my she shed is how I heat up my space. I'm using a Serene Life air conditioner that also has heat. So this is 10,000 BTU plus heat, I do believe. And of course, I'll leave the link down below so you can check out those specs. Now, the pro is that it works out phenomenally throughout the year. The heat is great. You can program it. It comes with the remote. You can program it. It also has a timer, and it has 4 different modes. So you have cool, your fan, dry, as well as heat. You have a plethora of temperatures that you can use it, whether it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. And then you've got the speed. So you can go from low, medium, or high. And then you also have the swing. So whether you want it to swing, oscillate up and down, or just fan out straight. It is a wonderful item. It's definitely a godsend, especially in the summertime when it is incredibly hot. I live in North Carolina. I live in Piedmont, North Carolina. So summers can be quite brutal, hot and humid. And then winter is mostly mild until about February. So right now we are hitting our coldest temperatures. The high for today is 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is cold for me. The low is about, I want to say, in the upper 20s. So that's pretty cold for us. I think the high will be about 45 tomorrow. So yeah. So that is how the weather works in my area. And so this machine definitely does a great job of heating up my space as well as cooling it. Now let's get into the cons of the Serene Life. The first con is its footprint. It is very large for such a small space, and I'm limited in where I can move it. Unfortunately, it has to stay in this area because the air filter, it releases water, and I didn't want to cut any holes into the shed. So I have that water, that tubing, going into a small trash can that I empty out ever so often. This time of the year, I probably empty it maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. But in addition to that tube and the release of the water, you got this big kahuna right here that's sitting in the window. So it had to be in a window. It had to be in this corner, and just trying to find the right spot, whether it's this wall or the wall behind me, just trying to get it out the way. And so if I were to do this again, I would probably find a different alternative. That leads me into the third con. It takes much longer to warm up my space than my space heater. So I told you I leave the thermostat on 62, but when I come in the wintertime, I just turn on my space heater. And my space heater warms up the space significantly faster, so much so that I just turn this off when I'm in the shed. Now, in the summertime, it does a phenomenal job of cooling the space. It doesn't take very long to cool the space. It's just when it comes to the heat, it takes a little longer to heat up the space. Fourth con is that it is really loud. It is annoyingly loud. Now, you get used to it, but it doesn't have a soft hum. It is pretty abrupt. So when I'm in here filming, it is disruptive. I have to turn it off. But my mics don't pick up my space heater. This is another reason why if I were to do this again, I would find another avenue to heat up my space. In the future, I can see myself making just a couple more changes. As far as the interior space goes, I think now I'm ready to upgrade the workbench. I'm over it looking like lumber, since it is. But now I think I'm ready for it to look a little more upscale. So I don't know if I want to paint it or maybe cover it with tile. That's something to keep in mind. But that is one change, the only change that I would make to the interior space. If not, also looking for a different way to heat and cool the interior space. Since we purchased this, they've made different products that might be more suitable for this space here. But that is it. That's all I would do inside. I love this space so much. It turned out perfect for my needs. Now, as far as the exterior goes, I would love to work on the hardscape. This is our 3rd year that we have been in this home. Next month will be 3 years since we purchased it. And the last 2 years, I keep getting pregnant. And it completely derails me from coming outside and making the changes and doing what I would like. So this year, I would really like to improve the hardscape of the shed. Now, I have tried perennials and annuals in this space, and I think I just need to get the soil tested because it's not working out. Now, I am a gardener as well, and so I know a little, and so I'm having issues with those perennials coming back. So I would like to work on that. The deck was also built incorrectly. It's the wrong orientation. That was a miscommunication between me and the contractor, and I just let it ride. But I would like to extend the deck, and that way I have more seating area. I think I'd like a new bistro area. I don't know, just toying with the idea. But yes, I'm ready to change the workbench and work on the hardscape outside. And that's it. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of the space that we have created. It is perfect for my needs, and I'm so blessed to have it. And yeah, so that is my sewing and solitude sanctuary. Does that work? We'll go with that. So this is my creative space. This is my lady lair. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, links for all the products mentioned are down below. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I love you for watching.